Welcome everyone to episode 337 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex, and we all flex, boom, 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 like a heartbeat, our bicep.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Thank you for joining for episode 337. Make sure you join the Daily Swole Club. Make sure you like, share, and tag someone in the broadcast. And use the hashtag Daily Swole Club to get some sweet bonus-ish at the end of the show to enter to win. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Welcome. Today's episode going to get yoked from our head to our feet because today Papa Swole is going to go extra balls deep. Extra balls deep. The Swole Ranger. Yeah, what's going on, peeps? What's going on, team? I'm going to give you all a couple updates before we just jump in and get started. First off, make sure if you haven't already, the Swolenormous Nation, my premium group knows about this already, but make sure if you are not, make sure you check me out also on Instagram, where I'm going to be doing the live Q&As. The Q&As are going to be over on Instagram, so if you like the Q&As here on Facebook, make sure you follow me over on Instagram for the Q&A action. Ask Papa Swolio, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. There's going to be some interesting stuff also happening on Instagram about that. So my latest post was actually something that I really enjoy. Keep checking back in because everyone's getting pretty deep over there. And the latest post on Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, check out that latest post. Follow me there. Stay tuned for any of the live broadcasts and shit of that nature. So you never know where Papa Swolio is going to pop up for those Q&As. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and on Facebook here. So, Kevin, what's going on? What up, team? What's going on? Make sure you like, share the broadcast, hashtag Daily Swole Club, tag a friend, and let's get this fucking party started, shall we? Episode 337, yoked like it ain't no joke. And this episode is why there are certain exercises you just should not do. Those dangerous exercises. And I say in the title, quote, dangerous exercise. Those dangerous exercises. And the danger behind some of those exercises that you all are pretty familiar with when you're talking about deadlifts, when you're talking about hyperextensions, when you're talking about, just floor crunches or I guess even like Romanian deadlifts. What are some of there's stupid exercise that I don't do that I never recommend anyone to do. I mean, hanging back extension is one of them. Hanging off one of those apparatuses and just, when your upper body is hanging off the, that back extension machine. And what it is about these dangerous, and I put quotes, dangerous exercise, because they're not dangerous for everyone. But here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. The reason why I mention it like this is because dangerous is relative. There are always some people. There's always that fucking guy or girl who's like 85 years old, like, yeah, I used to be doing that. I've been doing behind the neck presses. Like, I've been doing behind the neck presses for 50 years and my shoulder never hurt my shoulder in my life. No, sir, not just once, not even the slightest. No, sirree. So who's to say that behind the neck presses are bad? If, freaking Abraham Lincoln or Gainbraham Lincoln, or if, old man Rivers not getting injured. So who's to say what is really dangerous? That's my point. What's truly dangerous? What is truly dangerous for you? And I think we blanket things too much. Just like with diet, how I always talk about certain people are allergic to certain things. There'll be some of you that can get away with eating bread and milk and not have any issues or digestive issues or health problems. And some people that will blow their fucking intestines out if you have a glass of milk. Or you can die if you have peanut butter, but some people can just eat a jar of it and not die. And some people could sniff peanut butter and go into anaphylactic shock. So what is dangerous? And there are certain exercises like the behind the neck press and like the back extension that are not necessary to risk. And that's what it comes down to. It's not necessary to risk the potential injury. Like the benefit, the cost benefit ratio The risk reward. Like, what are you getting from it that's so amazing that you should risk what a lot of people succumb to as a result of that? Well, fully locked out leg presses should never be done by anyone, anytime, period. That's just wrong. I mean, but behind the neck presses, some people still do them, and obviously they don't have any pain or issues from it yet. And it is it's one of those interesting concepts. And I've learned to kind of stay away from it for the most part in terms of don't do this or don't do this. But if it's something where I'll do an episode for the Daily Show where I'll talk about these 3 exercises that you should avoid, we're talking blanket statement. I mean, I'm getting, thousands of people are watching these episodes and across all the platforms. And if I have to give advice, and I'm giving advice, and you all are listening, if you're listening to it, and whether you take the advice or not, I'm not going to tell you, don't do this unless it's really bad. I'm also not going to tell you to do something without making it a point that you should be careful of compensations, careful of joint imbalances. Back squats that look more like good mornings or good mornings, period. Are good mornings bad for you? Most people should not be doing them, because most people that even go out and attempt to do them, either physically, because of joint imbalances, just physically can't get into the proper position, or they just do it improperly. So it's like, why just try to, you'll look and see something on Instagram or you'll Google it, and then you go and try to do it, but you don't have a qualified person telling you if the form is right, and it's not something where you can check. It's not something that you can even check in the mirror sometimes without either compromising your form or getting hurt, or even you can't self-correct. So you're going there and kind of flying blind. That's why even myself, I always like sometimes if I have someone training with me, oh, check my form, let me know if this, or take a video so I can look at the video, because sometimes I feel like, and I've done videos of myself during a workout where I look back, I'm thinking, shit, my form's not as good as I thought it was, or I need stuff to correct up. Because if you're working out alone all the time, no one in the gym is going to be able to tell me better than I can tell myself whether my form is good. You might look and be like, oh, that's great form. And I look at it and I see subtly, just because of all my experience, subtly my weight is shifting the wrong direction, or I'm not retracting, or my joint, I'll notice certain things. But until you actually get an unbiased opinion like a camera, and if you're educated enough, you won't know whether or not your form is perfect. And what you feel isn't always what is actually going on. And a lot of times you might stand there and be like, my feet are even. You look down and one leg is behind the other just because of bad habits. And you have to correct that or consciously be aware of that. The concept, people, the concept that there is always a black and white answer to everything. And it makes answering questions a lot easier because everyone's different, but it also makes it more complicated because there isn't always a exact answer. What's the best exercise for glutes? Well, there are many that do the glutes. What's right for you? I might have you do exercises A through C, and you don't feel them as much as D because of your joint position or your limb length or the way your muscles are balanced or the equipment that you have available at your gym. This one works better. This Smith press is great, but you go to this gym which has this style of Smith press and you don't feel it as much there. So that would no longer be the best exercise for you. It's an interesting thing to think about, that just like diet and nutrition, every exercise and every exercise program, that is why there's so many believers of so many different things out there. Because is it possible? Is it fucking possible that there could be more than one right way to do something? Is it possible? Is it possible in this universe of endless possibilities that there could be more than one, that there could be more than one. Fuck, I can't even talk. More than one road to success. Absolutely. That's why there are people that believe in different religions. That's why there are people that believe in different political parties. That's why there are people that believe in different workout programs and different diet approaches. But it is very short-sighted. It is very close-minded to say, because it works for me, that you need to do it this way. And those of you that know me more intimately, those of you that are in my private premium group, you'll know that I have my opinions. I tell you what I do, but I don't push that on anyone. I don't push that on anyone. If I have an opinion, I'll back it by facts and or more of my own opinions for whatever reason. I'll have a reason for it. Just like when I talk about CrossFit, I don't prefer it, but I would never say that it doesn't work for some people. Obviously it does. But I'll also tell you about the high risk associated with it and the mentality and the scientific approach that is, antagonistic to that approach of exercise. And also with diet, there is the paleo approach. There is the ketosis approach. There is, gluten-free. I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason for all different types of things. Yeah, Brandy, I mean, there's a lot of risk in that type of exercise. But there's also a risk that I walk outside my front door and I get hit by a car. That's not CrossFit. Although I think that might be a CrossFit workout. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there's a CrossFit workout where you dodge traffic. I could be wrong. But you get the point. There's a risk in everything. There's a risk in being alive. But how do you gauge that risk, right? How do you gauge that risk relative to the reward? Our behind the neck shoulder presses, so amazing. Our behind the neck shoulder presses, so amazing. Like so fucking amazing. Are they that amazing that you will risk grinding the joint and getting, tendinitis and bursitis and issues as a result of doing it? Is it that much better than doing in front? Is it that much better than doing front raise? Is it worth the risk? Are back extensions hanging down worth the risk rather than just doing deadlifts or rather than doing proper Superman or Cobras on the ground and proper core strengthening or yoga? Like, is the risk of slipping and herniating a disc greater or less? So you have to weigh that out. You have to think about this. And I really encourage all of you in the Swolenormous community to think about longevity. Not a lot of people think about longevity in business, in life, especially in fitness. You're not thinking about the next 30 years. I've seen way too many people injured at 67. I trained a geriatric population for years. I'm in South Florida. I trained in Boca for a while. Trust me, I trained a lot of fucking old people. And it's the same old shit. Bad back, bad knees, bad shoulder. The same injuries, and I just see the immobility, and it's fucked up. And I'll tell you this now, and you'll be like, yeah, I know, I get it, rah, rah, rah. Go back to what you're doing. In 40 years, you're gonna come on here, and I'm gonna be doing a daily swole where I'm doing fucking pull-ups, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, my shoulder, from doing those American kettlebell swings. You're the one that's gonna be fucked up. You're the one that's gonna be fucked up, not me. Barring any like severe injury, There's always risk. There's always risk and there's always a chance that shit's gonna go wrong, even when you plan to do everything right. So no matter what you do, there's always a risk, but it's how much risk are you willing to assume? So some of those exercises you have to weigh to yourself. Is that risk worth what you're gonna get out of it potentially? Is there something else that you could do? Is there something else that you can do that could get you similar or the same or even better results with less risk? That is the proper choice. Now, is the risk high and is the reward high? That's something, that's something else entirely. It could be a lot of risk, but it could be a lot of reward. In fitness, you don't really have that. If you have proper form, in fitness, you don't have that because you really don't have that, honestly. And I'm interested to hear your feedback on that there really is no high risk, high reward in fitness. I have to sit back and think about that because that just popped into my head. I don't think there is a high risk, high reward. Like an exercise that's so high risk, but doing it regularly can get you such better results than anything else. Like, it's worth it. Can you guys think of anything? I think that's a really great, topic. Is there anything in fitness, health and fitness, that is worth, I guess if you're talking about steroid usage, like the risk is high. Some people might argue that and say it's low, but anytime you're injecting something into your body, like physically, the risk is high. But is the reward that, I guess that might be the only thing where you can do great risk and great reward, but that's opinion, right? But that's opinion based on whether or not your reward will be great. That's subjective. That's not objective. So what's your, I don't think there's anything in fitness that has that high risk. It's not like you're investing everything in one stock and it goes through the roof. Like, It's not like, oh, I'm gonna do back hyperextensions. I risk it everything, and oh, I made it, and now I'm huge. And, it doesn't work like that. Like maybe if you do it regularly, but think about it. If it's a risky exercise and you do it over and over and over and over again for years, I mean, how many chances are you giving yourself to get hurt? Are you increasing your risk more than what you're getting for the benefit? So that's something to think about. Something that I want you all to look at in your own training. Think about whether you are risking too much or maybe not enough. Maybe you're not risking enough, but it's always erring on the side of caution. Always think if you go into the gym and you go into your training program, whether you're doing the 90-day dash, whether you're doing my fitness program, whether you're doing your own thing and just taking some of this advice and asking questions, interacting here, are you thinking long-term? Are you thinking longevity? Because if you're not thinking patience and longevity, your chances are you're going to get hurt, you're going to get worn down a lot quicker than you think, and you're going to have a lot of your life miserable and injurious and dealing with the effects of the consequence of those actions and those decisions. So I encourage you not to be in that position. There's no need for it. There's no need for that risk. So, take it from me, take it from someone who has had tweaks, but I've been very consistent. I've been very fortunate to have a very good career. And welcome, bud. Thanks for joining me, first timer. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for episode 337. Deuces, magooses, later.